All right, welcome back to the Deck Dive, everyone. Looks like we've got a pretty hot topic on our hands today, and one that you guys have been asking about a lot lately.
Oh, yeah.
It's AI. And, specifically this whole AI boom we're seeing. The question everyone's asking is this just another .com bubble in the making, or is this time actually different?
Right.
So to get to the bottom of this, we're going to be diving deep into an article sent in by one of you. It's called AI Boom, a .com Bubble Echo by Sajjad Rasul.
Definitely a thought-provoking title, for sure.
Yeah, I mean, it really makes you think. So for those of you who might not remember the .com bubble, let's rewind back to the late 90s for a second. It was a time of, irrational exuberance, you could say.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Companies were getting these crazy valuations just for having .com in their name, even if they weren't actually making any money.
Yeah, exactly. The focus was all on growth. Profitability. Not so much. We all know how that ended.
Not great.
Not great at all. Lots of companies went belly up.
So fast forward to today, and the article points out that there are some pretty striking parallels between then and now. We've got this new transformative technology in AI. Everyone's rushing to invest, and valuations are skyrocketing.
Yeah, the fear of missing out is definitely palpable.
Totally. But is it really the same story, just with a different protagonist?
Well, that's the million-dollar question, is it? The article does point out a key difference this time around, though.
Oh.
Yeah, unlike the .com bubble, which was largely driven by startups, the AI boom is being led by some of the biggest tech giants out there.
You're talking about companies like
Nvidia, Microsoft, Alphabet. These guys are already established. They've got diverse revenue streams, solid financials, and most importantly, they're already profitable.
So they're not putting all their eggs in one basket, so to speak.
Right. They're not betting their entire future on AI. Take Nvidia, for example. Their data center business is booming right now thanks to the huge demand for their GPUs. Okay. Graphics processing units, they're essential for AI development, and it's become their main source of revenue. This is a far cry from those .com companies that were basically burning through cash with no clear path to profitability.
Okay, so that's a point in favor of AI not being just another bubble. But on the flip side, we're also seeing these massive market projections.
Oh yeah, the numbers are pretty eye-popping.
The global AI market is expected to reach $1.8 trillion by 2030, with a compound annual growth rate of over 36%. That's a lot of growth and a lot of potential for things to, get out of hand.
It is, and a big chunk of that projected growth is coming from something called generative AI.
Generative AI. To be honest, I'm not even entirely sure what that is.
It's a relatively new term. Basically, generative AI is a type of AI that can create new content. Think text, images, music, even code.
So it's not just analyzing data, it's actually creating things.
Exactly. That's why there's so much buzz around it. It's got the potential to revolutionize so many industries.
That does sound pretty revolutionary, but I guess the question is it all just hype, or is there real substance behind it?
Well, there are definitely some valid concerns about a potential bubble, especially when you see certain companies, particularly startups, getting these crazy valuations.
So even if the overall landscape is different this time, there's still a need for caution.
Absolutely. We can't just forget the lessons of the past.
Right. So it seems like there's a lot more to unpack here. We've got the good, the bad, and the potentially ugly. But before we get into all that, let's talk about some of the real-world applications of AI that are already making a difference. Because it's not all just hype and speculation, right?
Oh, definitely not.
Yeah.
AI is already being used in some pretty incredible ways across a whole range of industries, from healthcare to finance to manufacturing.
For example, I've heard that AI is being used to diagnose diseases with greater accuracy than human doctors in some cases.
It's true. And it's not just about diagnosis either. AI is being used to personalize treatment plans, discover new drugs, even perform surgeries with greater precision.
Wow.
It's pretty amazing. And in finance, AI is being used to detect fraud, manage risk, and even provide personalized financial advice. And in manufacturing, it's being used to optimize production processes and improve quality control.
So while there might be some echoes of the .com bubble, it's clear that AI is already having a real tangible impact on the world.
Exactly. It's not just about potential anymore. We're seeing actual results.
Okay, so we've got established players involved, strong market projections, and real-world applications that are already making a difference. But I know there are also some concerns about potential risks and challenges.
Right, of course. There are always two sides to every coin.
And that's what we'll be diving into next. We'll explore those challenges and risks, as well as some expert opinions on the future of AI in the next part of our deep dive. All right, so we're back, still neck deep in this whole AI boom and trying to figure out if it's the real deal or just a flashy repeat of the dot-com bust.
It's the question everyone's asking.
Right. And so far, we've seen some pretty compelling arguments on both sides. But now let's face the music. What are some of the potential downsides, the risks, the challenges that come with this brave new world of AI?
Well, one that's hard to ignore and honestly keeps a lot of people up at night is the impact on jobs.
Yeah, I mean, it's the elephant in the room, right? Every time AI comes up, you hear those predictions about millions of jobs lost to automation. It's almost like a broken record.
It is a real concern, no doubt about it. As AI gets smarter, it can take over tasks that humans currently do, especially those repetitive, data-heavy jobs, like manufacturing, transportation, even customer service.
So are we all destined to become baristas or dog walkers in this AI-powered future?
Not necessarily. It's not just about jobs disappearing, it's about them changing. Think of it like this. The job market has always been in flux, adapting to new technologies. The printing press, the steam engine, the internet, each brought disruption, new jobs, and the need for new skills. AI is just the next wave.
Okay, so instead of panicking about job losses, we should focus on adapting, evolving, and learning those new skills.
Exactly. And that's where education and retraining come in. We need to equip people with the knowledge and skills to thrive in an AI-powered world.
So it's less about AI taking jobs and more about it shifting the landscape, creating opportunities for those who can adapt.
Right. And let's not forget that AI will likely create new jobs too. Think about all the jobs that exist now that didn't exist before the internet. We probably can't even fathom some of the roles that will emerge as AI becomes more integrated into our lives.
It's like trying to predict the future, which is always a risky business.
It is. But the key is to be prepared, to be adaptable.
Makes sense. Okay, so job displacement is a big one. What other challenges should we be talking about?
Well, one that often gets overlooked is the sheer amount of resources AI requires. I mean, to train these complex AI models, we're talking massive amounts of data, enormous computational power.
So it's not just about having the right algorithms, it's also about having the infrastructure to support it all.
Absolutely. And that raises questions about sustainability. All that processing power requires energy, lots of it. So how do we ensure AI development is done responsibly, minimizing its environmental impact?
Yeah, that's a good point. We don't want to solve one problem just to create another.
Exactly. And then there's the issue of access. If developing AI requires such massive resources, will only the big players, the Googles, the Microsofts, the Amazons be able to do it? Or can smaller companies, startups, even individuals get in on the action?
Yeah, that's a huge concern. We don't want to create a world where only a handful of companies control this powerful technology.
Right. It's about ensuring a level playing field, making sure AI benefits everyone, not just a select few.
Okay, so we've got job displacement, resource demands, and access issues. Anything else we need to add to our list of AI anxieties?
Well, there's one more that we can't shy away from, and that's the potential for misuse.
Oh boy. Here we go. The robots taking over, right?
Well, killer robots are a valid concern, but the misuse can be much more subtle and insidious too.
Like what?
Think about deepfakes, incredibly realistic but fake videos that can be used to spread misinformation and sow discord.
Yeah, those are terrifyingly realistic.
Or biased algorithms that perpetuate existing societal inequalities, or AI-powered surveillance systems that erode privacy. These are real concerns we need to address head on.
So it's not just about the technology itself, it's about who controls it and how they choose to use it.
Exactly. We need to establish ethical frameworks, ensure transparency, and hold people accountable for how AI is developed and deployed.
It's a lot of responsibility, and honestly, it feels a bit like we're standing at a crossroads.
I think that's a good analogy. One path leads to a future where AI is used to solve problems, improve lives, and make the world a better place. The other path, well, it's a bit more dystopian.
Okay, so it's not all doom and gloom, but it's not all sunshine and rainbows either. There's a lot to consider, a lot to weigh. But how do we know which path we're actually on?
Well, that's where the experts come in. Let's hear what some of the leading voices in the field have to say about the future of AI.
Welcome back to the Deep Dive. We've spent this episode dissecting the AI boom, trying to separate the hype from the reality, and honestly, it's been quite a ride.
It has. From those eye-popping market predictions to the very real concerns about jobs and ethical implications, AI seems to spark both excitement and anxiety in equal measure.
Yeah, it's like everyone's trying to figure out if AI is a blessing or a curse, a solution or a problem.
As we've seen, it's probably a bit of both.
Right. But how do we make sense of it all? Thankfully, we've got some expert opinions to help us navigate this complex landscape, and they don't always agree.
Oh yeah, there's definitely a spectrum of views out there. Everything from AI will save the world to AI will be our downfall.
So where do we even begin? How do we filter through all the noise and make some sense of these contrasting perspectives?
Well, one thing that struck me is that even with their differences, most experts seem to agree on one fundamental point. AI is a game changer.
Okay, so regardless of whether you're team optimist or team caution, everyone acknowledges that AI is a transformative technology.
Exactly. It's not a question of if AI will have a significant impact. It's a question of how that impact will play out.
So it's less about predicting the future and more about shaping it.
Right, and that's where the concept of responsible AI development comes in. Many experts emphasize the need for ethical considerations, transparency, and accountability in how we build and deploy AI systems.
That makes sense. We can't just unleash this powerful technology on the world without thinking through the consequences. But how do we actually ensure responsible AI development? I mean, it sounds great in theory, but in practice, how do we put those principles into action?
That's the million-dollar question. And there are different schools of thought on this.
Like what?
Well, some experts are calling for strict government regulations to guide AI development, sort of like a rule book for how AI can and cannot be used.
Okay, so that's one approach, regulation from the top down. What else is being proposed?
Another camp advocates for self-regulation within the tech industry, encouraging companies to adopt ethical AI principles and practices voluntarily.
So more of a bottom-up approach, relying on the industry to police itself. But honestly, can we really trust tech companies to do the right thing? I mean, their track record isn't exactly spotless.
That's a valid concern. And that's why some experts are proposing a middle ground, a collaborative approach where governments, industry leaders, researchers, and ethicists work together to establish clear guidelines and best practices for AI development.
So it's not just about regulations or self-regulation. It's about finding a way to work together to create a shared understanding of how AI should be used.
Yeah, it's about recognizing that AI is not just a technological issue, it's a societal issue. And that means we need to have a broader conversation, one that involves not just tech experts, but also ethicists, social scientists, policymakers, and everyday citizens.
It's about bringing diverse perspectives to the table and making sure AI reflects our shared values and priorities.
Exactly, because ultimately, the future of AI is not something that will be decided in a lab or a boardroom. It's something we'll all shape together.
That's an empowering thought and a good reminder that we all have a role to play. So, as we wrap up this deep dive into the AI boom, what's the one key takeaway you want our listeners to walk away with?
I'd say this: approach AI with both curiosity and a healthy dose of skepticism. Embrace the potential, but don't shy away from asking tough questions, considering the ethical implications, and demanding transparency from those developing and deploying AI systems.
It's about staying informed, staying engaged, and recognizing that the future of AI is not predetermined. It's something we're actively shaping with every choice we make.
Exactly. So let's make those choices wisely.
Couldn't have said it better myself. Thanks for joining us on this deep dive into the world of AI. We hope you found it informative and thought-provoking, and we encourage you to continue exploring this complex and rapidly evolving topic.
And remember, the conversation doesn't end here. Keep asking questions, stay curious, and let's shape the future of AI together.
Until next time, stay curious and keep diving deep.